Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, Outpost Natural Foods Co-op, and Superior Equipment and Supply.
In the quiet calm of the American morning, there's a legion of people that wake up long before the rest of us to do some very important work. The dairy farmers know it, of course the third shift folks, and the bakers. Here at Waterhouse Bakery, this couple reaches out and grabs the great grains that Lonesome Stone mills and makes some of the best artisanal bread in the entire state. Hi, are you Ray?
I am.
I'm Kyle.
Oh, hi, Kyle. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
So, well, welcome.
Thanks.
So,
Thanks.
This is we have a bistro out here. Shawn's in back baking, but we have kind of the coffee shop, the bistro, baked goods are all out here. Obviously, we have a community meeting spot, great view of the park.
And what I'm really here for is your breads.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
and Shawn's magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how we started.
And you guys, how long have you been a baker couple?
Shawn's been baking actually since we got married. He got a book from his uncle, and he self-taught himself how to bake bread.
Or how to burn it first.
Hopefully not too much, but yes. He moved to Michigan for a year, and right when we were about to get married, had nothing else to do, so he self-taught himself how to bake.
Well, yeah, because it's Michigan, not Wisconsin.
Exactly.
So
there's nothing to do.
I mean, this is what everybody's morning ought to smell like.
Shawn, I brought you some visitors. Shawn, this is Kyle.
We'll do the baker shake. How you doing, man? How many breads are you going to bake today?
Well, I've got the list over here. I try not to memorize anything because I'm not that clever.
This is high-tech bakery, man.
Well, this is the way that we do the tracking. I come out of an engineering background, so this is kind of a process engineering tool. Each of the different colors show the different steps along the way, and then each of the different breads is listed down the side, and it tells me the batch size, and it tells me how many of each shape that I'm going to be making. So right now, we're at 845. And what I was just doing was the punch down on the garlic salt.
And that dough-covered mouse tells you that you're the lead baker. I love that you're an engineer, a recovering engineer who got into baking, and that Ray had no idea of the life you guys would be leading when you guys got hitched.
Well, when we started, I didn't know how to cook. So when I went off for my co-op out of school, I got that book.
Which one?
Vegetarian Cooking for Everyone, because she's a vegetarian, sort of.
Yep.
And
this is a cook. This is a book that, I mean, I know so many home cooks have on their shelf and is highly dog-eared.
Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah.
So that's what got me started. There's a bread recipe in there. Deborah, I'm sorry, but it's just not one that I enjoy very much. And I was whining about that for years at Christmas, and my uncle finally he said to my mom, "You got to get him that book."
Nice.
That's Bread Alone by Dan Leader.
Yep.
UW-Madison graduate in philosophy.
Wisconsin!
Went out and started his own bakery out in the Catskills.
And there is something philosophical. I mean, I've watched Peter Reinhardt's TED Talk about bread. Mm-hmm. There is something deeply philosophical, and I dare say even spiritual, about the process. It's alchemy.
Well, it's alchemy. It's also, you're dealing with a living organism. I mean, as soon as you mix flour and water, the wild yeast in the air come into it and start to become a living thing.
Yeah.
And taking care of that and getting it to do what you want it to do and go where you want it to go so that you can feed people. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Hi, my name is Gilbert Williams. I own and manage Lonesome Stone Milling. We take wheat from the driftless area and we make it into quality organic products for bread and baking. Now what you're looking at is 10,000-year-old landscape, or even, no, 10 million-year-old landscape, excuse me. This was the section of the Wisconsin area that was not glaciated. And so we have a lot more hills here. We'll be driving up out of the Wisconsin River Valley up to what is Pleasant Ridge, which is a high piece of ground just north of Dodgeville. And it's on these ridges we found that it's a good place to grow wheat because wheat needs to dry out before harvest. And you have a lot more wind up on the ridges than you do down here in the valley. We are working with certified organic farmers, and we are certified organic. And it's not just being organic, but it's doing a good job of being organic. And that is mainly taking care of the soil, having a healthy, well-balanced soil. And when I say healthy, well-balanced, what I mean is you've been maintaining the micronutrients in the soil and maintaining a crop rotation. That combination gives you a very healthy soil and a microflora that will release the right ratio of nutrients to the plant. That correct ratio of nutrients to the plant produces a healthy plant. The healthy plant will then fend off the diseases that are so much of the time in trouble. And it will also produce a very flavorful grain when it comes time to harvest. Hey, Shawn.
Good to see you.
Dude.
How you doing?
Well, it's the harvest season.
Yeah.
I'm working my tail off. Just about out of last year's grain, but we've got a lot of good-looking new wheat.
Excellent.
So you get 50 pounds of whole wheat bread flour, 8 of sifted pastry flour, 2 of rye, and then we got
the stuff for retail.
4 bags for whole wheat, 4 bags for sifted, and 4 bags. Yeah, 4,
Perfect.
4, and 4. Okay.
There's something magical about your pastry flour. I have not been able to do.
Well, that's Tom Martin's, and you know he's about 45 minutes west of here, and it's again ridge-grown wheat that is soft red spring wheat, and it was real nice. I've got about 5 tons of it left, so we don't have to switch out. You know?
Well, that's good. Its workability
Yeah,
is so much
yeah.
better than anything else that I've used. It's
Well,
just
remember
fantastic.
this is a stone ground flour, you know.
Okay, since now we've got that all loaded up, would you be able to show me around a little bit? I'd love to see.
Well, the real piece is right here. This is the main flour mill. But we can grind in about a 10-hour day. We could grind about 2,000 pounds. This is our grain cleaner. She's a little dusty today because we've been working pretty hard for the last 2 weeks. This season we've done about 2,000 bushels of rye, and we've just started the wheat. This is a hard red wheat.
So what is the cleaning process doing?
We are sifting and winnowing, or we're shaking through screens. We have 4 screens that are tucked away inside the machine. We've got a top pair that is a scalper, which is a large screen where the grain falls through, and a sifter where smaller fragments or weed seeds fall out. We go up our second leg here and we go into our finished product bin. From there we can go into a 50-pound bag, or we usually go into a 1-ton tote bag. Stone milling is what has been grinding bread for millennia. It used to be just a mortar and pedestal type of setup. Then every culture had some form of stones grinding grain.
You know, when we started working with Lonesome Stone, we were kind of half and half on our cookies with white flour and wheat flour, and the quality of the flour that we were getting from you allowed us to switch over to 100% whole wheat And now we've done the additional move of doing a split between the bread flour and the pastry flour, and we're just so happy with the quality of the cookies. So it's been a really interesting kind of adventure in working through this stuff with having no formal training and no official schooling or anything like that, and just kind of banging heads against the wall and learning from you and the kind of things that we can try.
I kind of feel proud of the fact that we have a scientific backbone that produces a quality product that people really enjoy. And then the fact that we're a stone mill and we make a whole grain product is what most people in their later half of life need as a regular source of fiber. So we have a healthy product, we have a flavorful product, we have a local product, and a very significant amount of money goes right back to the farmer. And you're not supporting corporate farms with us, you're supporting family farms, you're supporting family investors, and you're supporting a small town when you buy our product.
So with Lonesome Stone and Gilbert, I mean, there's a lot of industrial baking out there, but there's a lot of really great, for lack of a better term, artisanal or lovingly conscious baking going out there. But there isn't that many great micro graineries, micro milleries that are doing local grains from local farmers that have the results like you're talking about. I mean, what Gilbert's doing is fantastic, and there's the Wisconsin terroir, and there's the 3 farmers that grow the grain, and he's so thoughtful about it, but it's not a one-off. You can do it in other parts of the country.
Right.
And mill it there.
Yep.
And bakers like you could access it and make great bread.
That's
Why
really-
isn't there more?
I don't know. I mean, doing this is a lot of hard work. And doing milling is a lot of hard work, and you need a lot of equipment to be able to do it. I mean, as Gilbert will tell you, and I'm sure he did,
Yeah.
about how much is involved with getting the right equipment, and getting it in the right place, getting the right supply. Gilbert's in a constant battle trying to get the right grain from the right places at the right time to the right quality level. It takes a level of expertise that I don't know that there are a lot of people who are interested in doing it. Gilbert, we're lucky, is a wonderful biology science geek.
Right.
And he does fantastic work, and he thinks of things that I wouldn't even think of, and I consider myself a science geek.
So, does Lonesome Stone just, as a baker, blow your mind with imagination sometimes because of what Gilbert does?
Yeah, we one of the things that we like to talk about is the metrics that we use to decide on who we want to work with. And we focus on responsibility, whether they're organic or not, whether they're local or not, or how local they are. And then there's taste. Because there are lots of people who can produce lots of stuff responsibly,
Right.
organically, and locally, but it
gotta be
tastes
good.
it tastes like not so good.
Yeah.
So with Gilbert, we've kind of hit a perfect kind of set. And we still use Great River Organic Milling, and we love their products, but there's something that Gilbert is doing. I don't know if it's the freshness or the fact that he's sourcing the grain locally.
His general wackiness?
Yeah, but we're really excited to be looking at his spelt, the einkorn that he's playing with, the turkey red that he's playing with, all of the heritage stuff that he's doing, the oats. I mean, where Gilbert is headed is taking what's normally done on a massive scale and really shrinking it down. One of the other things that helped us make the decision with Gilbert, at one point with Great River, it was about 2 years ago, I wanted to bring the distance between the field and the finished bread a little bit closer, and I wanted to be able to tell the story a little bit better, so I called up Great River and I said, where do you get your grains from? They said, the Great Plains. Cool. Can you give me the names of the farmers? You know, I'd like
the
to...
general Great Plains, yeah.
And I got no response on my email, and at that time, I was thinking, oh, well, I guess I asked a dumb question. And then I bump into Gilbert. On the label is where it comes from, who grows it, the county, and who is all being helped by this flour. And I saw that, and it was like finding the Holy Grail. It was everything that I was looking for.
Yeah.
You were saying before, why can't we replicate this? I don't know, it would be great. It's unique. I know that this is part of the ethos that Dan Leader points at, and it's the approach that Bread Alone uses, sourcing locally grown organic grain. He goes and he visits the grain in the field, and he knows what he's going to get from year to year.
So here it is. Sifted pastry flour, Lonesome Stone Milling. We've got soft red winter wheat. We've got the farmer, Tom Martin, grows a lot for Lonesome Stone. Crawford County, this flour, best for. I mean, it's everything but the guy's social security number is on this product.
And it makes phenomenal pie crust, and it makes phenomenal cookies, and that's where we use it.
And these are these clean, white, beautiful sacks of great milled flour is what you get in.
That have to get carried upstairs.
Again, I ask, why is the heavy stuff always in the basement?
Concrete floors.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. Pretty girls going out with ugly guys, we still don't get that one, but it's, you know. So how many loaves did you burn back in the day when you were just doing it as a hobby?
Actually, it was really hard for me to burn loaves when I was doing it as a hobby, just because my oven never got hot enough. And I was so anal retentive that I couldn't leave them in there long enough to get them to burn.
You were watching the pot, so it couldn't possibly boil.
Yeah, I had more underdone loaves than burned loaves.
Okay.
And a lot. I wasn't really, serious about it. This was never part of the plan. You made the comment before that we didn't know that this is what we were getting into. This was never intentional.
But your story is so similar to so many chefs that I've talked to, restaurateurs, artisanal makers, farmers, especially the younger ones, where they just got out of the way of who they were. And their lives took a completely different course than they ever imagined, but they're happier than they ever thought they would be.
Yeah, and that's an experience that we've had as well, and I'm glad you bring that up, because at this point, I don't think I could go back and work for somebody.
Right.
I think I tried. Well, before I left my last job, I was there part-time, and
as an engineer.
My head was not there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I'd be able to take direction from anybody. I have a hard enough time taking direction from my wife.
It's probably good that she's front of the house and you're back here by the ovens.
We try to divide it, but we find, there's a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
As much as we try to divide it and say, you get that. So this is the basil ricotta honey. This is with the ricotta cheese from Organic Valley. The basil comes from Springdale Farm up in Plymouth. And we do a bread share with them during the summer, and that's been a really great experience. And then the honey in there comes from Jenks, who will be out at the market today here in Lake Mills, because they're from Lake Mills.
It's experiencing the way that bread was prepared, not so with these, but prepared a little bit more deliberately, I guess, and with things that were nearby for centuries. I mean, we've got essentially, we had proteins, we had bread, we had beer, for as long as we have things written down and people doing recipes and eating.
Right.
Yeah. But they were sourcing from and what was in season and gristing it themselves, and yeah.
Exactly.
Get out of the way of the history.
It's
and
funny
step
how
back
things come
into
back.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't trade this for anything. A lot of the love comes from how you choose the ingredients, what ingredients you choose to put in. So I treat the ingredients with respect because it means a lot to me.
Right.
Being able to do that and put these things in and then run to market and say, I got this, I made this over the weekend, here, try this. It's just a lot of fun. And I think that's where the passion comes from. You use the word artisanal, and I kind of...
You and I both...
I back away from that term because there are certain people who are using that. There are large machine-driven operations that are using artisanal.
It's being bandied about way too much.
What we like to say is we make bread. Yeah, yeah, we make bread.
That's very
and a lot of other things.
That's very zen of you. All right, so what am I going to bite into?
This is our cheesy mushroom ciabatta. So that's got mushrooms from River Valley Ranch. That's got cheese, a medley of Swiss cheeses from Decatur Dairy, a smoked Swiss, a baby Swiss, and their Stettler Swiss, organic thyme, and onions from Jenner Family Farm, and garlic from Springdale Family Farm.
This thing that just happened to me with a great piece of bread is the gateway moment for so many people when they have something of this caliber, or that first vine-ripened heirloom tomato, or those eggs where the yolk is actually yellow-orange. It's like, you know, Dorothy's world just went from black and white to color. This is what good food tastes like. I mean, we can go on for hours with more, you know, delicate words, but this is what good food tastes like. So I'm going to pause from munching on your delicious bread and not do what my mom always corrected me for, which was talking with my mouth full, and say thank you. Thank you for leaving the life of engineering and being drafted into this actual artisanal bread world.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Dude,
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for rocking the flour. It's really good bread.
Wisconsin Foodie would like to thank the following underwriters for their support: the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, Outpost Natural Foods Co-op, Superior Equipment and Supply, the restaurants of Potawatomi Bingo Casino, Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, Something Special from Wisconsin, and Colectivo Coffee Roasters.
All right, Andy, whenever you guys are ready.
Extra cheesy.
Well, thank you so much
right,
for showing me around.
again.
Well, Shawn, okay.
Start again, sorry.
All right, Gilbert, thank you so much. I really appreciate you showing me around. This was
Yeah.
really cool. It kind of puts things in perspective for me.
Well, I want to get back to the Tosa market, and I really do miss that. But you know, this harvest season is taking all my energy.
We need you. We need
Okay,
you. We
I'll be
need you out in
back,
the
I'll be
fields.
back.
Thanks, Gilbert.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Gilbert, thank you so much for taking me around. I really appreciate it. It kind of puts things in perspective. I got to get back. So,
Yeah. Well,
see
I
you
do
later.
like showing my customers the place, and I do look forward to being back in the Tosa Farmers Market.
yeah, we miss you. We miss
Okay.
you. We need
Well,
the flour. Let's stay out in the fields and make it for us.
Yeah, I'm busy during the harvest season.